two boxer punchers like this, I look at this fight and I think the movement that you present will be the deciding factor.
Well, I think it's our keys to victory. One of our keys to victory, and I think that using it very well, and getting the gist of it early on, setting the tone early on, I think is going to be the deciding factor for me as far as being comfortable, being able to set the tone, being able to dictate, because that's really the key. We don't want Canelo to dictate. We don't even want arm punches, stuff like that. We want to be able to be elusive. We want to be able to slip shots. We want nothing to where they can say he's doing damage. So my job is just to use my natural attributes, come in there and be the thinker that I am. Obviously, if there needs to be adjustments, make the necessary adjustments. But for the most part, man, just go in there and do the works. If there needs to be a plan B or a plan C, I think we have all of that. We have the necessary tools to use. Obviously, my biggest advantage is my size and my reach and my range, my athleticism. So we're going to use that to the best of our ability. But if we need to go to a plan B, I think we're more than equipped, more than ready to input anything we need to win.
Canelo, of course, is the face of boxing, and with that, he becomes a favorite with entering this fight. A lot of boxing heads feel that maybe it should be different, that you should enter this fight as a favorite. What's your thoughts on that?
I just think it's mostly because of his popularity. Obviously, like you said, he's the face of boxing, so he's one of the face of boxing, and it's like naturally, people who truly even don't really know the sport of boxing is going to favor Canelo because they love Canelo, and I understand it. So going into this fight, I already knew I was going to be the underdog. But I think that real boxing heads, people who really truly follow the sport passionately and understand that styles make fights, and understand that because you have a bigger name doesn't necessarily make you the winner prior to going into that fight and proving yourself. So that's really just my thing, going in there and just prove the general public wrong. But that's ultimately just to do my job. So I want to be able to give these fans a good show.
Boxing heads aside, you mentioned proving the public wrong.
Yeah.
And how much of that would be just Daniel Jacobs bullying Canelo on May 4th?
Well, I don't necessarily think Canelo can bully me. I mean, I think that it's going to be really hard for him, being the smaller guy, to kind of dictate that. I'm a rough guy when it comes to being inside that ring with me. You might see, me from the outside, it might look different, but when you're actually in there, I'm a physically big guy with speed and power. So it's more so about the game plan I choose to use to be victorious. And with my last fight with Sergey Derevyanchenko, I could have pushed Sergey back, but it just would have been a battle of guys trying to push each other back. So I wanted to use a different plan to try to get the victory, because obviously me having experience with that guy, I knew the type of fight that he was going to bring. And I knew that to make it an easier fight for me is not really to try to go in there and impose my size and try to back him down. And I just wanted to make sure that we show a different side too. And he was able to see a lot of slipping, a lot of countering, different things that you probably haven't seen from me in a long time.
Your trainer has mentioned this being your Hall of Fame fight. You win this and it's stamped and you're there. What else would this mean to you to get your hand raised? Like you said, you've envisioned it and walked through.
Well, I think to me, it would truly show that, because this, I'm going to say it's a bitter taste in my mouth as far as the Golovkin fight, but, to me, it would let the fans know that, if you thought I won it, if you don't, then that would clear it all. I am the best middleweight in the world, because I've always campaigned and said I'm the best middleweight. But I've always also been vocal about them taking the fight from me. So with a victory over Canelo, I think not only does it kind of erase or, put a new idea in fans' mind that, well, maybe this kid is the best, He's proven himself against a guy who actually beat Triple G. So, and then I could give Triple G the rematch and then finally prove to the world that I'm better than he is. It's absurd how Golovkin and his team was always saying how people were so fearful of facing them and that they were in it for the love of the sport and that they wanted to fight the best. Now, me getting a victory over Canelo, you would think that they would want a rematch, but we heard it out of their own mouths that they still wouldn't want the rematch if I was to beat Canelo. They still would want to face Canelo. So in that aspect, we also see that boxing is a business and that they're looking for the biggest paydays that they can possibly get, because I would have proven that I am the best and I have all the belts at that particular time when it happens. And for him to still look in another direction just shows you exactly the impression that I left on him that night we fought.
Do you take that as a slight or a compliment? It could be considered as both.
Oh, for sure. It's a compliment, because I've always known in the back of my mind that Triple G he lost that fight. I could see it in his eyes when they gave him the decision. And he hasn't really been vocal ever about giving me the rematch. It's always just been small talk or wiping it under the rug. So for me, I just want to make sure that I not only fight Golovkin again and prove the naysayers wrong, but prove to him that he knows that I'm the best fighter and I'm better than he is.